Hi guys, and welcome back to another Tech Minds video. Now this is an antenna that I've been wanting to try for quite some time now. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the Xiegu VG4. Now the VG4 is a vertical HF antenna and it covers 4 bands without the need for a tuner. It can cope up with 1000 watts PEP for SSB and 500 watts on CW. Now once it's all built together, it stands around 8 meters tall, but only weighs 7 kilograms or 15.5 pounds. Now apparently it can also survive a Category 1 hurricane without any guy ropes. Now all the parts come in a fairly small box considering how long this antenna is once built. You do also get the tools required to build the antenna, which includes a couple of spanners and another tool to help tighten up the hose clamps. And if you get this antenna, I would recommend that you take a look through the included instructions before you start building, but each section is actually numbered, which you'll see in a moment. Now the VG4 is a top-loaded antenna, so all of the traps are located near the top. Now laying them out on the ground makes it easier to ensure that you have them all in the right place, and then when it comes to attaching each section, you should pretty much have them in the right order. The bottom section is where you need to attach the matching unit, and the attaching screws should already be in place in the housing there, so you just have to remove them first before using them to secure the matching section. So this is how the matching box looks once it's attached to that lower section, and there's just one last thing to do, and that's to attach that little earth strap from the matching box to that ground radial hub. Now this is just one bolt which you need to take out of the hub first. Now here you can see me attaching the O-ring sideways, but later I realised that this blocked one of the radial holes in the ground hub, so mount that O-ring vertically if you're following this video on how to build it. So now I need to go up the antenna and attach each section together using those supplied hose clamps. Now you will find in the kit different size hose clamps, so start with the larger one at the bottom, and as you work your way up the antenna, just choose the next size down. And once all the hose clamps have been attached and the loading coils have been tightened, just go up and down the antenna just to make sure it all looks secure and it's all in line. Obviously, you want to double check to make sure they're actually in order as well. Now, when it comes to tuning, I originally went with some measurements I found in another YouTube video. However, once it was up in the air, the antenna was too short for all of the bands. Now, I'll talk more about the SWR in a moment though. From the base to the first coil, I set a length of around 135 inches, but this was too small for me. In fact, if you pull out the coil until you find the yellow label, that is probably a better starting point. Having a network analyzer is going to be your best friend with this antenna, as you'll be able to check all of the supported bands at the same time and roughly see where it's not resonant or where the resonant point is, whether it's higher or lower than your desired center frequency. Now the last items to attach the antenna are actually the ground radials and the capacity hats, but I cannot do this while it's laying on the ground. Now I didn't film this part, but you'll see what they look like attached in a moment. This pole here is concreted into the ground at the end of my garden, goes down around 3 to 4 feet, and this is usually to host my 1.2 meter satellite receiving dish. However, I recently removed the dish temporarily while we had a tree removed at the end of the garden, so it becomes a great candidate to test this antenna on. And once I've put the antenna on here, it will be lower to the ground I would like, but for testing it should be okay. And here it is, up at around 3 meters off the ground. You can clearly see the ground radials attached at the bottom, and then as we look further up the antenna, we can see the capacity hats at the top. Now back in the shack, I attach my network analyzer and perform a scan from 6 MHz to 31 MHz, just so that we can see where the dips are for each band. The software that I'm using shows the bands in a dark grey colour as a vertical line, so it's easy to see if the dips are within the bands. As you can see here, all of the band's lowest dip points are above the bands. Now this tells me that the antenna is actually too short. So if we just refer to the manual, it clearly shows which sections relate to each band. In this instance, I extended the length of each of the bands so that the resonant point drops. Now I did do this a couple of times, and doing this on your own is a mission, especially with those long radials and capacity hats. However, I eventually managed to get this result. The 40-meter dip is now covering the whole of the 40-meter band. However, the lowest SWR point is not as low as I would have liked. However, it is still usable. Now, I can only assume that this would drop drastically if I was to put the antenna a lot higher away from the ground, as opposed to being only 3 meters off the ground. Now, 20 meters is looking good, especially around the area which I would normally use. However, I could really do with lengthening that 20-meter section just to bring that dip down more towards the middle to help those band edges drop as well. Now, 15 meters, well, that's pretty awesome. It has an SWR of 1.4 or lower across the whole band, so no adjustments needed there. 10 meters is best around 29 MHz, but 28.5, where most of the USB activity is, comes in at an SWR of around 1.6. So again, I could probably lengthen the 10-meter section to bring that dip down a little bit in frequency and give the band edges better performance. However, it's still very usable. Okay, so let's hook it up to an SDR or my radio and we'll have a little listen around the bands.
X-ray 2 Ocean, Radio Mike to Alpha. Good morning, big signal, 59 plus. My name is Dima.
Yeah, nice to work you today. 59 plus in New York, over.
Roger, thanks for the nice signal report to me from New York. Good morning and have a good EX. NX2O, RM2A, see you.
Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey.
Mike 0 Delta Quebec, again please.
Yeah, Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey. You're 59 into the UK this afternoon. The operating name here is Matt. Mike Alpha Tango QSL.
Okay, Mr. Matt, very good afternoon. Thank you for the call. Good signal, 59. My name is Mike. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. Much appreciated. Stay safe and hopefully catch you further down. This is Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey. Bye-bye.
Thank you for contact. Good luck, 73.
Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey. M0DQW is the call sign.
I got it. M0DQW, Echo Uniform 1, Radio Charlie. Matthew, fantastic. The 5 and 9, amazing. Not going to say what exact meter, but the sound is absolutely beautiful. The audio is absolutely gorgeous. Back to you, over.
Yeah, you EU1RC M0DQW. Well, you're exactly the same. You're exactly the same, Andre. You're peaking plus 20 here, 59 plus 20.
Yeah, Roger, M0DQW, Echo Uniform 1, Radio Charlie. You can call me Andy. Alpha November Delta Yankee. It's maybe a little bit easier for not Russian-speaking people, I'm going to say. That's why I'm using this, handle.
Okay, thank you much today. Please give me a QSL. Gemini 6 America Sugar Kilo. Japan, Kuwait, America, Golf, X-Ray 73.
Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey.
Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey. Hello, 59.
Yeah, you're 59 as well. 59 into the UK. Operating name here is Matt. Mike Alpha Tango. Thanks for the contact.
Thank you, Matt. The name is Mimo. Mike India, Mike Oscar 73.
Yeah, 73. Bye-bye.
So I think you said you've got a 101 as well. I've not done anything fancy to it at all. I've just plugged it in, switched it on, and away we go. I've switched on the equalizer. I've switched on the processor.
Okay, lots of stations calling. One ending in Zulu, Bravo, Echo. Go ahead.
2 Echo 0 with a 781.
Now, while 40 meters is still very usable, a wire up at 10 meters above the ground is slightly better. Maybe if I was to elevate the VG4 above the roofline, performance would increase, even on the 40 meter band. A test that I like to perform with antennas, especially HF antennas, is to run a digital mode called FT8. Now, I don't do this for long, maybe 30 minutes of calling CQ and making contacts. That's if you can call them contacts. But what this allows you to do is then check PSK Reporter website, where you can look at the data received from stations all around the world to see if they picked up your FT8 transmission. Now, power output from the radio is at around 25 watts, and the first we'll look at is the 40 meter band here. Now, looking at the map on PSK Reporter, filtered to only show my received signal on the 40 meter band, we can pretty clearly see that my FT8 transmission was received in all four corners of the world. The dark area there in the middle indicates that it's nighttime, and the brighter matte parts are the areas of the globe that are currently in sunlight. I then performed the same test on 20-meter band. Now I do think the band conditions are pretty good at the moment, especially as we were here in Japan on voice SSB earlier, but this is still pretty impressive, with just around 25 watts of RF power and the FT8 transmissions being heard around the world. Now 15 meters was a little surprising with the same test, as this showed my FT8 transmissions favouring being received to the east of me, a couple down in South America and some up in the north in the Arctic Circle, but with most being received across Central America. Now 10 meters was pretty similar to 15 meters at this particular time. However, this is not really a true indication of how well this antenna works and indicates more towards current propagation at the time of making these transmissions. And the reason I say that is because using the VG4 I was able to make some SSB contact into Eastern Europe and Asia the following days during the daylight hours. Well, there we go guys, that's the Xiegu VG4. Now at the time of making this video, this antenna costs around £200. And if you want to get one, check out my discount link in the description where you can get 10% off any product on the Radio Oddity website. Anyway guys, as always, thanks for watching, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.